Police were forced to open fire on a naked man who refused to stop chewing the face off of another man.
A college student tells police he killed a housemate and then ate part of the victim's heart and brain.
Welcome to the Rebel Dead Zombie Apocalypse Show, and today I have a very special co-host with me. It is our head writer from Rebel Gaming, Barry. Yay, everybody clap. Say hi, Barry.
Good morning, how you all doing?
It's very early in the morning for Barry, but he took a nap, as old people do, and has joined us for our talk. So, and the reason I think why Barry has joined us this evening and actually taken the time to take the day off tomorrow, he took a nap so that he could be up. He's made coffee. He's working on his second cup. Is because for a few weeks now since we've been doing our show, we've all pretty much summed up that the UK would be wiped off the face of the earth. And I got my information now from Mr. DJ Arcus, the creator of Fortress Craft, who is as well one of my employers. So he told me, being that he is from the UK, that there are no gun shops and there are, you know, like people in the United States could run out and raid a gun store. Well, but I was told that you can't do that in the UK. Barry is here to tell us that they will survive. I wish I had the Rocky theme going right now, because I would play this as Barry starts the conversation about why, and this is where we are. We're just going to start right off the bat tonight. Why Barry feels that, you know what, they're not going to be wiped off the face of the earth. They're going to be able to survive and thrive, and it's not going to be with swords and armor in fetal position, like I have stated in previous conversations. So tell us, Barry, how do you plan on surviving with no weapons even?
Well, a couple of things. One, we have got weapons, but we British only decided to give those weapons to people that know how to fucking use them. So therefore, you know, we have got weapons. And I mean, you said in the previous show that our police don't have guns. Yeah, they do. They're called the Met Police. Every single city in the UK has Met Police. So you've got like your regular police that deal with like drunkards. Okay,
well then,
like
no, you have to understand.
And then you've got your Met Police that deal with, you know, really bad men, and they've got like massive guns.
Okay, well then what happened during all those
the main reason
riots?
why I think that the UK is going to be absolutely fine is one little thing that you guys forgot the other day, is we've got our own island. So depending on how the zombie apocalypse comes to pass, we've got our own island. It's not we're joined up with like, other countries and stuff like that.
Barry.
So, you know, we'll be fine, I think.
Barry.
Yeah.
Do you have dead people in the UK?
There are a couple, yeah.
Then you will have zombies. It doesn't matter that you're on an island. Is there a bridge? More dead people will show up. It's just gonna happen. If you've got a graveyard there...
I think other countries will go way before England does.
You do? You think so?
100%.
Who do you think's gonna go first? No, see, I don't think, but I think that when it comes to certain countries, I think a majority of their populations are going to be wiped out because of the fact that they don't have, you know,
he's hoping Germany or Spain. You're close. the absolute first country that's going to go is France.
Why do you guys think France? Why?
Well, you know, like in America, you have DEFCON 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
In France, they've got run, hide, collaborate. So they're going to run and they're going to hide from the zombies, and then they're going to collaborate, and then the whole country is going to be taken over by zombies because that's going to be the easy way to go. And because France is joined right on with Germany, you know, Germany's pretty hard. They had 2 shots at the world title, to be fair to them.
Right.
But because of the sheer number of zombies coming out of France, then Germany's basically done with. And then you've got Russia, but Russia is epic. It's really big. people don't really understand how huge Russia
Russia's
is. So as soon as
huge.
zombies get into Russia, then you can pretty much say goodbye to all of Europe. Apart from
you
England,
know what? I
we've
don't
got our
think
own
so.
island.
Russia has fucking weapons of mass destruction. They're gonna fucking send nuclear fucking missiles at these fuckers. I'm telling you. I don't think. Actually, no. Being serious, I don't think any country will be completely wiped out. I think some people will survive. There are going, because you want to know why, guys. I'm just gonna say it. There are gamers in every country, and those are going to be the people that survive. We've talked about this from the get-go. The very first show that we had, Rob was on with us, Barry, and we did say that probably gamers that have ever played a zombie mode would be, susceptible to living. See, there you go. Loco says we will kill them with our Cheetos.
What's a Cheeto?
Omni, have you talked to a zombie? A dead zombie that has no feeling? A zombie that... Hey Shadow, what's up? One of the Rebel regulars in the house. See, Omni, this goes along with the thing that we said. Will zombies drown? They're already dead. Will they just walk around on the bottom of the ocean floor? I mean, you see what I'm saying? I don't think Oh my god, they're explaining what a Cheeto is to you in chat, Barry.
Cheese powdered. Oh, like a what's it?
I don't know. I don't know what that is, but...
Hang on a minute. Tracy Jane. Is a what's it like a Cheeto?
Okay, it's a sound theory, but if zombies don't have feeling, they don't get hurt, they don't suffer. Do they get frostbite? We don't know. They're dead. Half their flesh is falling off their body anyways. So it's not like they're going to be able to be, they might, if they stop moving, they'll freeze, or they might get stiff after a while because temperatures get so low. Yeah, but they're not gonna, I don't think. The whole reason we had said originally that we would probably go into Canada was because of the colder climate there versus disease. We were going to go there because we didn't think disease would be as rampant as it would be in the southern part of the hemisphere.
Tracy Jane makes a good point. Depends on the breed of zombie. Remember variations, like species of zombie.
No. Well, we haven't gotten that far yet. We have just talked about basically survival from, if you've listened to any of the previous shows, which I found out today Barry hasn't. No. I'm teasing you, Barry. But no, Blue, we don't know. See, you guys think because they're from Russia, obviously, they're going to be, dead people are dead people. It doesn't matter where the fuck you're from. All they want to do is eat people. Hey, Kazuki's in the house. Welcome. We were joking one of the first couple shows when we said, like, Asian zombies. Asian ninja zombies would be epic. But they're not going to be doing all their ninja shit because they just want to eat dead people. They're going to be like, hobbling around looking for dead people. So that's what I'm saying. We don't know if there will be different species of zombies. Are there different species of humans? A dead person's a dead person. That will be a zombie. I'm going to be honest, I don't think there will be different species of zombies. They're different, if you want to talk about different forms of zombies, we talked about this before and everybody got, like, all bent out of shape. Okay, well, depends 28 days later, just infected with rage.
Yeah, but I mean,
Right.
even though you don't have different species of
I
zombie,
don't,
depending on how the zombie virus, if you want to call it that,
I know, but zombies aren't going to
comes
have
to place,
personalities
and then obviously,
either.
you've got different mutations of that virus. So some people could be infected with, like, regular zombie, whereas other people get infected with, like, running around zombies, and
No, I don't think
thinking
so.
zombies, and
I don't think so.
stuff like that.
I think you're getting too science fiction. I really do. I mean, I'm not trying to mix your theory, but I think, you know, dead people coming up out of the grave are going to be dead people. I think people that had their legs cut off in horrible accidents are going to come out and be crawlers, but they're still going to be dead. They're not going to be mutated into some kind of, you know, this isn't, we're being, you know, if you're thinking logically and you're thinking realistically, we're not talking about a game. We're not talking about a TV show. We're talking about what we think would really happen. You know, zombies are dead people. They only need to, I mean, there's going to be handicapped zombies because obviously there's handicapped humans. You know, but you have to remember those zombies are only alive for that one, there's only one part of their lower brain that is working, and that is to kill and eat people. And that's it. They don't have feelings, there's not stinkers, there's not runners, they want to eat. There might be some that are better off physically because they have all of their limbs, or they don't have as much flesh gone. And Tracy Jane says, yes, but that depends on DNA variations, how the virus affects others. Well, okay, fine. Fine, all the world has different strains of zombies, now deal with it. No, I really don't agree with you, whoever you are, Tracy Jane. I don't, because I just don't think there's a lot of things I don't agree with, even my son says. I don't think it's realistic. So, you know, a lot of our talk has been honestly just about survival. That's kind of why we started the show. It wasn't to talk about different breeds of zombies. It was talked about how we would survive. You know, our first few shows, if you hadn't joined us, were the first 72 hours on how you would survive. And then this last couple weeks, we've been talking about a year and a half, 2 years in, and you know, we're going to further those talks. One of those things that I agreed, Shadow, zombies are zombies. All right, well, go ahead, Barry. You take it away on how you feel. You said you wrote down many notes, because I have to do something. So go ahead, explain to us about how you will survive, Barry. Like, what weapons would you use? See, my thing was, if you had weapons, and you had mentioned this last week, was, okay, well, how would the public get to those weapons if there's only a certain amount if only certain cops have those? It's still not like you can get to a store and buy them. You would have to get to these police and take them from them. So is that something that would be accessible to you guys in the UK? I don't think it would. I still think that the only thing that said to me was that maybe the police will survive the zombie apocalypse and the general public won't.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was having a bit of a chat with a buddy one about what would be the first thing that we would do in a zombie apocalypse. And I mean, one idea was to go to one of the local police stations where they're obviously going to have guns, but then Steph makes a very good point that a lot of people are going to have that exact same idea. So we'd be basically fighting over each other to get to those cop shops and stuff like that. But I mean, you know, it all comes down to whether you want to fight hand to hand with these zombies with handguns or shotguns or whatever.
Right.
If you just want to keep moving, because I mean, obviously there's going to be places where, you know, if there's not a great deal of people, then therefore there's not going to be a great deal of zombies. So there's plenty of places in the UK that are like
right.
There's no one around.
And I just want to address something that Tracy Jane was saying. She says she has a katana, for example. Okay, well, 50 zombies are coming at you. You're going to get eventually tired. It's not like you're living a movie. This is real life. So My point is that if you need to protect yourself and zombies do get into wherever you're established, a sword, a katana, things of that sort are only going to last you for so long. Okay, it's easy. Okay, that's fine. You can get to it, but it's only going to keep you alive if you encounter 1 or 2 zombies. You know, you're going to have to be mighty strong. You're going to have a lot of fucking endurance. And you got to understand, you're going to be panicked. You probably will not have eaten. And if you've got to fight off 50 zombies with a sword or a katana, and you've got no food in you, and you've got no energy, and they keep coming at you, that's only going to last so long. Like I said, there's no way that you can tell me that this sword is going to keep away mass hordes of zombies. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You can have the best plan in the fucking world, but there's only so many heads you can roll with the sword. If you're fucking traveling and your car breaks down and you've got a freaking swarm of zombies coming at you, how long do you think you're going to hold them off with that katana? That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's only going to last so long. So what I would suggest is that you get a good pair of running shoes. That would be my suggestion. They won't, and that's realistic. Swords, katanas, things of that sort, knives, they're not going to take out. Okay. Tracy Jane says, she's not saying that, but it's from the UK perspective, guns are not easily available. Right, but you were basically saying, though, that with a plan, a sword would make it, possible, and it's not. No, I understand that, but if you've got an automatic weapons, and everybody in the United States, if you've ever watched any of the news where kids have gotten automatic weapons to shoot up a frickin' high school, then you'll know that they can be accessed here very easily. So, you know what, getting an automatic weapon and getting lots of ammo is something that is accessible in the United States. Easily accessible. And I actually, in fact, I think here in New Jersey we have a guy from, is he from Germany or Russia with the automatic weapons that he shoots up? He's from Russia. He lives in South Jersey. He puts up videos on YouTube all the time of all the frickin' guns and shit, and he has them legally registered, and they're high-powered guns. And Loco says that he has a copy of The Walking Dead for PC to give away tonight. So if all of our listeners would tweet that out, that would be pretty awesome. FPS Russia, I believe that is him. So, Miss Tracy Jane says, Barry, you can pipe in here anytime because you are from the UK, so you are representing them. She says, so you need to think of your resources. A sword would aid as a temporary measure. Yes, a gun would be the best resolution, but we're thinking in realistic terms, and that's what I've been telling you this whole time.
Yeah, so what she's basically saying is, we've got to think in realistic terms. So, in the zombie apocalypse, we can argue as much as you like about, we can get guns from Met Police or naval bases and stuff like that, but everyone's going to have the exact same ideas. So, I mean, it's
exactly.
I don't think in places like the UK it's going to be a case of how best to fight zombies off, but more a case of how to stay the fuck away from them, or barricade yourself in. I mean,
well, see, that's what would honestly with
like that. There's that many castles in the UK, but I mean,
Well, Rob had said everybody could go to a castle.
More of a case of just literally staying away from them rather than trying to fight
honestly, them. And we're speaking. I'm being very truthful with you. Because being that this is your first time on the show, so you all of a sudden are dealt with the fact that where you're living right now, you hear on the news that there's dead people rising up out of the grave and they're killing people at random. What is your first thing that you do for you and your family? What do you do?
Get out of the house, to be honest with you, because I mean, a lot of people think about boarding up the windows and then boarding up the doors, but then after a while, you're going to run out of fucking food. You're going to run out of water. You're going to need to go out and get. You're going to go out and get some resources. I mean, the first thing I would personally do is get into the car, get the whole family in the car, and just drive. Just get get to the supermarket, just fill up on food and water and provisions, and then just drive. Get to like the most a place where there's going to be the least amount of people. Now, I'm in quite a lucky position where I basically live in the middle of nowhere. So, getting to a place where there isn't many people not going to be too much of a problem. So I think, that'll be the first point of call, and I think a lot of people would have, the same kind of idea, just to get as far away as the
right. Okay, but listen. Okay,
yeah,
for those of you in channel, for those of you in channel, we've all been through this. We've already talked about this. We all realized that the gas would run out. That people would go, and that was my issue with Rob. Rob said he would basically get up and bail on me. So we've covered this already in past talks. We've covered the gas situation. We know gas would run out. We've talked about ammunition and stuff like that. In the United States, it is very accessible to get, and yes, it would run out. My point is, though, that resourcefully, we would, we would start making bullets out of old material, out of steel that you can get off of older cars. So you would adjust, you would make it, and I think with whatever you have, you would use that. If I've got an automatic weapon and I've got ammunition and I've got zombies coming at me and my kids, well, fuck yeah, I'm gonna use it. And if I run out, then you know what? Guess what? I can find another house, because I've already said that I would have no problem taking from somebody else's house. If I know people are dead in that house, or they're not there anymore, that they've left, and I knew that they had weapons, fuck yeah, I'm going in that house and I'm ripping off everything I fucking can in it. So, and I know that sounds horrible, but that's what it would come down to. So we have talked about things that would be, on last week's show we had a really good talk about vaccinations and disease, and I thought it was really good. But we talked about everybody agreed that we thought here in the United States, Barry, we have a store called Cabela's, and if you want to go on Google, if you're near your PC and Google Cabela's, it is like a super mall for camping. It's for camping and hunting.
When you said Cabela's in the last week's show, I seriously thought you were talking about a boat.
No, it is probably. There is one around here. It's in Pennsylvania. This place is so big, it's like a day trip. There's like, you can actually fish inside this place for trout.
Dude.
Yeah, there's like everything. You can get literally everything there. So somebody said, I would go to Cabela's. Let's just go. But but that would be a great place to go. I'm sure a million other people would think that too. But like I said, I think my motherly protection tactics would kick in, and I'd just fucking kill anybody in my way. I'm being very honest. Miss Tracy Jane says, I think it's like millets.
Millets? Isn't that the way they sell shoes?
And Loco, the reason why we said Cabela's is because Cabela's also has, they have ration food for campers and hikers there that actually come in little packs, and I'm sure you've seen it. It's almost like space food, but it's survival food. So they have food at Cabela's too, which was why I said I would go to Cabela's. And who's calling who a moron? Don't call people names.
It's okay. She's called me worse than that in the past.
So I think that oh shoot. Hey, I'm sorry, excuse me. Like I said, we're live. TJ, can you open the door? Now. Holy shit, I get this kid a phone for his freaking birthday and he can't, put it down now. Jesus Christ. By the way, everybody, on Twitter, you can @TJVivian32. He's 16 years old. So, everybody can wish him a happy birthday. Live action, that's right, Blue. Live action. So But last week we had actually said that we were talking about diseases, and it got pretty intense. You know, one of the realizations that we had was that people that had certain obviously ailments that required medication, it would run out on them, and they wouldn't have it anymore. So one of the things was the AIDS virus was very prominent in our discussion last week. No vaccines for children. We had.
I think you could get when it comes down to like diseases and stuff like that. I think it'll the zombie apocalypse will have both a positive and obviously a negative effect on people. Because I mean, you got your big ones like your AIDS and stuff like that. But I mean, to be fair, if you get AIDS now, you're done. It's just they can elongate the amount of time you stick around. But I mean, if you get AIDS now, well then you're pretty much done with. But then you've also got things like diseases of the 20th century. I mean, some of those would surely dissipate off and die. I mean, I'm talking about like asthma, just for argument's sake. Now, asthma is mainly caused by the way that we live our lives now. So, I mean, when gas or petrol and stuff like that, when that starts to run out, and smog runs down, and things like asthma will become a thing of the past. And then you've got other diseases, and I mean, I've got quite a specific mindset when it comes to things like ME. Now, I'm not talking. Don't confuse that with MS.
Right.
Multiple sclerosis. So,
right.
ME is that disease where you're always tired. Now, sorry, but fuck off. Always tired. I can't go to work because I just want to lay in bed. But that's not disease. That's just being fucking lazy. Just get up. I mean, if you can give it in terms of, if you go like 100 or 200 years in the past, someone will say, no, I can't go and mine this shaft today because I've got ME, I'm tired. They're just going to kick the fuck out of him. They're not going to give him, special treatment. Like, no, mate, just get up and stop being the pussy. And then you've got the ones like, being fat. They call that being a disease now. I was like, no, mate, it's not a disease. You just like cake, then just put down the cake, go back to work. It's fine, So diseases of the 20th century, they're going to dissipate and die. But I mean, diseases are diseases now, and other diseases then. So I mean,
Right. No, but we were talking more along the lines people that were going through chemotherapy for cancer, people that had type 2 diabetes, people that required insulin that weren't overweight. That these would be some real issues, because we had said that probably the first year, the first 2 years maybe, we would start to see a huge, massive population decrease, and not all by zombie attacks. We would see, it would be a filtering of the strong and the weak. And I know that sounds horrific, but it's the truth. The people that have ailments that their medications would eventually run out would die. Period. It's not, the people that, then though there are those that, that could live off of holistic medicines. So, that would be, but I think the first couple years we would see a huge shift in, what is that saying? The survival of the fittest or something. So, yes, we talked about that, that how, and I had brought this up, and this is why Blue was like almost upset when he left last week. I said, mosquitoes have become a huge issue again. Here in New Jersey, they actually spray. They spray for mosquitoes, because I live by natural wetlands here, and when I had brought that up, everybody realized that all of a sudden these little mosquitoes that bite us out in the yard would be, and that's why we had probably suggested a lot of us would probably move to colder climates, not to get away from the zombies, because you have to think months into this, that this is something that's going to be a way of life for us now. Because whatever, we don't know where the government is, we don't know, basically it's to each his own. And if we're going to be living in a community type environment, I would think that the colder climates would probably be better in the long run for us, because it would be less disease, less mosquitoes. Yeah, but Blue eventually Blue said in channel he would start hoarding Off products, and for those of you who don't, Off is a brand of bug repellent, but all of that would eventually vanish. All of that stuff would become non-existent. Loco says he feels like flies would be a bigger mode of transportation. Everything would. Everything that bugs that fly that become airborne, fleas would become a horrible problem. Sand fleas, things like that, things that can carry, things that suck blood and that can carry it and suck blood from another creature. Rabies would become another horrible problem because now all of a sudden they're not being controlled by humans because humans are dead, most of them. The people that do all of this, the government, who knows what will happen to them. Well, you know what, Loco, here it's been shown, we've had people, we actually even had in the United States recently, malaria showed up from mosquitoes in the United States. So there are a lot of blood borne viruses that can be delivered through transportation of insects. And you have to understand, like we had talked about, like the flu virus. The flu virus, like I don't get shots for the flu virus because I think it's stupid. Because I think that actually I have built up already, like to the swine flu. I've had the swine flu. I've got it a couple years ago. It was a horrific flu. I lived through it though, and I'm here to tell the story. But back then it was an epidemic here. They had people going into mass lines over at the high schools getting vaccinated for free for this. It was insane. But see, all of a sudden though, now we don't have those vaccines for that. And it has been known that the flu virus changes every time they come out. Every time the genetic people that make the vaccines, they find a way to help ward it off. The flu virus has been known for the past, I don't know, X amount of years, 20, 30, 40 years. It mutates and finds a way around this vaccine. So the thing is, though, is you have to understand that, when everybody says, oh, it depends on what strain and everything, but you know what? Things are going to mutate and form in a way that all of a sudden, you have to understand, too, all of a sudden we don't have the vaccines, we don't have we don't have anything that protected us in the past. So these things are going to be rampant. They're going to spread rampantly, and there's no doubt in my mind. There's not going to be spraying for mosquitoes. There's not going to be vaccinations against West Niles. If you get it, you can't go to the hospital and you know what I mean, and get have them hook you up to an IV, get antibiotics, because that's going to be non-existent. So all of those things are going to be different. The mutations aren't going to happen as much because all of a sudden they're not going to need to mutate as much as they have in the past. The flu virus won't have to find a way around the vaccine because there is no vaccine. So all of those things that we have known in the past to have happened, all of a sudden that's wiped out. It becomes, this is why I said the healthy will survive and the unhealthy will not, period. And that's, like Barry said, in a way it's a good and a bad thing, Survival of the fittest.
100%.
Absolutely, I think. A lot of people didn't. We talked also, Barry. We talked about family members, extended family members. People got mad at me because I said that I would take my immediate family. My immediate family is my children, and that's it. And people got really on me about that. They were like, how could you leave, my mother and father have passed away, but I said if they were alive, they don't really, I have to, my concern at first was with survival, whatever food that I had, and this was in the first 72 hours we had talked about. I said, I'm not inviting my parents over unless I know that they're bringing a shitload of food. I'm sorry, I know that sounds mean, but I've got to,
No,
whatever.
it doesn't sound mean because I mean, like you, we've both got a big immediate family. Because I mean, the vast majority of people have maybe one or two
Right.
kids, but of course,
I have
I've
5.
got 3, you've got 5, and I mean, to be fair, so therefore, we've got
welcome.
big immediate families. So if we're looking out to go and survive, then we want as little mouths to feed
Exactly.
as humanly possible.
That's what I was
So
thinking.
it makes absolute perfect sense to me that if we had to leave our home now and go and find somewhere, then our choice is to either take me, my children, my wife, or me, my children, my wife, and the entire other the rest of the crew, like all my cousins and aunties and uncles and stuff. It's like no. We only see each other once at Christmas, so let's just you go your way, we'll go our way, and I'll send you a fucking
We'll
postcard.
send you a postcard, But welcome to chat, David. And he just joined us in chat, and he had says to us, theoretically, any virus that affects one mammal could transmute across species within the mammalian genomes. We have a brainiac in with this. But that was my theory. People got on me. I said I would I would say, hey, Mom, Dad, I love you, but you're across town, and this is how much food I get. I would probably try to get a hold of them and say, what supplies do you have? Because that's the way I think, though. And it sounds mean, but unless I know they've got they just went to like Costco and bought like a shitload of bulk items, I don't want them coming to my house. But I know I because Barry, though, I want to address something to you now that I have you on the show, and we had talked about this, and maybe some of the newer people in channel have not been able to chat about this. It was probably the second show, and I blew everybody's mind with this one, and I said because this would become a serious issue, if your immediate family, somebody in your immediate family, and maybe it was Phil's fan who had the pregnant wife, if they became infected, would you kill them?
No, I did think about that because I think I did catch that in a previous show,
right?
Even if it was kind of brief. And I mean, it's really, really easy for me to say, yeah, I'll kill him. But given the situation and the fact that I'm in the UK, so I wouldn't have a fucking gun, that's it wouldn't be as easy to do as to say. So I mean, I think if faced with that situation, I'd like to say, oh yeah, I'll just because at the end of the day, that person's a zombie, and then we can just get rid of that person, so I'll be just off them. But I mean, I wouldn't have a gun, so it wouldn't be like a quick thing. I'd have to, bludgeon one of my children to death, and that's just it's not going to happen.
I know, but see, my thing was
there's other things to bear in mind as well. I mean, I know we said that a zombie's a zombie at the end of the day,
but what you would be doing essentially, though, if you don't stop that, you're going to be adding to the problem. Because once they're a zombie, they don't love you anymore. They don't feel love for you. They don't feel affection. They're coming to kill you and kill somebody else. So if you don't take care of that problem yourself, what you're going to be doing is you might be killing somebody else down the line because you didn't want to take care of that. You know what I mean? Do you want to see your wife? Do you want to see your wife? No, listen to me though. Your wife gets bitten. And you know it's going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, she starts deteriorating. Within 24 hours, she's going to be dead. And then she's going to be reanimated as a zombie. You're going to watch her die, probably very painfully. And then you're going to watch her reanimate herself and come at you. And maybe, what if she goes after one of the kids then? What if she goes after and tries to kill one of the kids?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's...
Aren't I just a fucking buzzkill?
I mean, the other day, I mean, how would I possibly do it? As in,
I understand that, but what I'm saying, though, is I would think, and because I understand that you don't have any weapons, but if she is in a state, you would have. Would you risk your children's life if your wife became infected?
Oh no, I wouldn't risk the kid's life over it. But then, of course, it's the human condition, isn't it? I mean, I'd be thinking in the back of my mind, all right, yeah, okay, she's a zombie, but there might be a cure coming down the line. I don't know.
Well, exactly, but see, but that's somebody else had said, like the movie, we go put them in a barn until we find a cure.
Yeah.
And I was like, but what if 5 years go on? What if 10 years goes on and we're all still living like this? There is no cure. There is no government. There's people living in communes, huge forted communes around the globe, because because people are always going to die. You're always going to have people dying. So if you don't start taking care of, who knows when. This was my point too. There is so many graveyards around the world. There's just, I mean, God, in Washington, D.C. alone, I know this sounds horrible, but there's just the military. I mean, there's just huge amounts of dead people. So I would think that with the first few years, a lot of people dying off, if you don't take care of their remains properly, if you don't burn them, you have to burn them. And so I would think, what if there is no cure though? What if you're 10 down? So what are you just gonna do? What are you gonna keep her in a cage and pet her?
Probably not pet her.
Throw some raw meat at her.
Or like roast and stuff. But even let's say that we are 5 years down the line, and I've still got my zombie wife in a cage or something like that. Then at the back of my mind, it's always going to be like, well, there might be some fantastic genius living to that comes up with a cure, a miracle cure. And then of course,
you can go ahead and think. I'm freaking killing everybody off. I don't give a shit. I'm just killing them all. But that's just me.
I mean, I think it might get to a point where it gets like 2 or 3 years down the line, and I've kind of become numb to zombie killing and stuff, and then I'll be ready to get rid of family members and stuff like that if they get bitten. But I think to begin with, I'd be all about the keep them in a shed or a barn, or just keep them together kind of thing, but then later on, I think I'll come to the realization that nothing I can really do and get rid of it that way. Because as I say, it's really easy for me to say that I'd off the wife or one of the kids, but in practice, it's not going to happen.
I know, and that's why I had said kind of what I said even early on. That would be a huge thing to have, and that was actually one of the episodes of The Walking Dead was somebody was infected and they opted to leave him by a tree and they gave him a handgun. I mean, why would you give him a handgun? You know he's going to die anyways. He's going to be a zombie. And they gave him so I thought that was kind of ridiculous because they gave up their weapon for somebody that was going to be a zombie anyways. And then I thought to myself, well, that was kind of stupid because now they're adding to the problem. Blue mentioned that he goes, if you're thinking about, somebody said just to kill yourself, stop the virus. Well, mass suicide isn't going to get us anywhere.
No.
That's what if somebody gets bitten, you have to deal with that because you know what's going to happen to them. So, I mean, you can't. So that's why I haven't been able to talk to you about it. So that's why I was curious how you would respond to that. But last week's show we talked about communal living and how we would probably eventually a lot of people would opt for that. Just being that there's more protection with more people. Yeah. If you did stumble upon people and they did have weapons, well, and you had something to offer them for protection, you know what I mean? So I think that's how communities would work out. What do you have to offer this community? Okay, well, we're going to bring you in. But I would also think that you would still kind of live very secret or very keeping to yourself within these communities. I know I would even with my kids because I don't know who it was. They brought up a good point. If somebody gets sick in one of these communities, obviously they would be quarantined. I know I'm talking sick, like if they catch a cold, if they catch the flu, or something else, because then you have to deal with sick people, and even something as small as a cold could lead to an epidemic in your community.
You say that, but then there's no cure for the common cold now.
No, but when you've got mosquitoes running rampant, disease, the common cold becomes a bigger issue than just like it is now. We take a couple aspirin, or maybe we take some. If you take some, I know, but I don't want to hear myself in it, TJ. I'm sorry, everybody. My son just got a phone for his birthday, and he's actually listening to the stream on his phone right now. So he's very excited about his smartphone that he got. Somebody, Blue in Channel says, I brought up the quarantine, then someone else brought up it would end up being the death arena. No, but you know what? You would need, not a quarantine, but you would need an area that was a quote-unquote hospital. You would need an area of whatever community that you're living in that when people are sick, that they would have, that's where they would have to go. They couldn't be around the rest of the population, because you have to understand, whatever you have, it's when there's nothing, nobody's, you know, if there's any small children, they're not being vaccinated anymore because there are no vaccines. So any kind of ailment that an adult gets is going to be 10 times worse for a child. You know, getting the chicken pox is going to be a huge deal. Not like it is now, but it will, you know. Loco says, gun them down. There's nothing that can be done. You know what, Loco? That can be your job in our community. You're just going to get to gun down everybody and shoot them. You hear somebody sneeze, pull out the fucking shotgun. He's happy with his new job. And, you know, and that's the other thing, though. People would have jobs in the community, you know. I would think, though, that trust would be a huge issue. I think I would have a hard time. Trust would be a huge issue. Your personal belongings. You know, what if you get people stealing things? You know, like we talked about hot items. Hot items in a zombie apocalypse, not for drinking, Barry, would be alcohol. For infection, for fuel. We had also talked about last week. We talked also about the high price of poop. Poop would become a hot commodity because you can burn it.
Oh my god.
We're very serious.
Yeah, but I know, but
no, you have to understand. Listen, Barry, and this is why I wish you would listen to more to some.
No, I understand the logic.
But everybody would have to go poop in a certain area so that it could be used for fuel, for fires at night.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But, ooh, I mean, you know, I know how, because obviously, I've got 3 small sons, and they all, you know, shit themselves on a regular basis, and that feels bad enough in itself. But burning
you know
the
what?
poo, I think I'd rather be cold.
No, but you know
I
what?
think I'd rather be cold.
Well,
no, genuinely, because
I understand that, but you know, when you
jokes
don't
about
have
poo it's horrible stuff.
Yeah, well, you know what?
It's horrible smelling stuff.
It's something. Well, you know what? It's going to have to be burned because if you're living in a community and it's gated, you have a fortress that you live inside. There's not going to be a plumbing system because there's nobody running it. There's not going to be flowing water because nobody's at the treatment plant anymore. You're going to have to shit somewhere, and you're going to have to deal with it. Yep. So the best way to do that, you keep burying it, what's going to happen? It's going to start smelling out of the ground. He's like so not love. Why the hell did you have me on the poop show?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I get the logic, but fuck me.
You know what, Barry? In our community, you can be the person that takes care of the poop.
I'm gonna fucking let the zombies in. Like, there you go, lads. Have one of them.
Look, the person that put me in charge of the poop, she's sitting over there. Go get her. Let the fucking zombies zombie in, goddammit.
Sweet, sweet release from the
Barry's whistling. No, and when I was talking about jobs, I meant jobs as in there would be people to tend the gardens. There would be probably people that maybe had some skill in the health community that could deal with, the sick people. People would have jobs like that is what I meant. You in your community, you might have somebody that was a teacher that maybe, because, you can't just think that you're just going to sit around and wait for zombies to show up. You would get in this abnormal lifestyle now. There would come some kind of routine down the line. So that's what I would say. Yes, Blue would be the village idiot. He would go around and make everybody laugh. Loco says, we have the killer, the shit cleaner. What's next? So, yes, and I saw that up there. Tracy Jane says, but what jobs? I just kind of said what jobs. I think there would be people that would be our security, that would, there would be people on watch 24 hours all the time because there would have to be. There would be people that would, like I said, tend the gardens. There would be people that would go out, that would leave the forted community that, the stronghold that you were maybe living in, that would go out and look. There would have to be hunters because food supply would be a big issue. You would get most of your food from, what you could grow now and what people could hunt. So that's when I say jobs, that's the kind of jobs I mean. So, yes, Blue would be the comic relief for our community. Search and rescue. You know what? You would. I think if you decide to live in some kind of communal living with people and everybody works together, I do think people would say, hey, you know what? Well, I'm good at this, so you know what? Maybe if there's other couple people in my community in this group that are maybe good at this, you guys can help me with this, and we'll take care of this if you guys can take care of that. And I do think, quote unquote, jobs would happen. I don't think everybody's just going to sit around going, what do we do? What do we do? Because we're going months and months and years into this. People would have jobs. Absolutely, they would. Not because people.
I think that the point that Tracy Jane was trying to make there is that, I kind of see where she's going with it, but ultimately I don't agree. There's because at the moment in our society they've got kids or bums or losers that constantly claim benefits but don't actually work and stuff like that. But these kind of people would not be invited into these communities. So if
we talked about that too. You could definitely keep out who you wanted to keep out.
Yeah.
I think it might have even been Blue last week that said, when people kind of came walking up to your community and said, you could say to them, what do you have to offer us? And if obviously, then they could be welcomed in, but you got to think of the type of people that you need. Somebody's a farmer, that's good. Somebody though that's a mechanic is good too, because they might be able to, I think around here we actually have right down the road from me a place that uses vegetable oil, not like the kind you cook with, but it's like to run cars with. So somebody in that, you know what I mean? Different people would be beneficial to your community. And that's what I meant by jobs. If there's somebody that's a slacker that doesn't have, you could say, you know what? I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to move along to the next sound.
Definitely.
It would become.
Sorry to take it back to movies, but there was a movie with Ray Liotta in it a little while ago. I forget the name of it, but he was put onto a prison island or whatever. But the little fortress in it was had had law and order. It had a sheriff of it and stuff like that. And there was one guy that fell asleep when he was sort of being on watch, and the next day he just got thrown out. And I mean, if you have these little communities, that's exactly what it would need to be like. Everyone would have their set jobs,
Right.
and if they didn't fulfill their set jobs, then just fuck off with the zombies. Because I mean, you don't need that shit in a little. Because I mean, was it someone mentioned like it would essentially look at it from a positive point of view. It would cleanse our society. You know, so I mean, you'd have all the people, all the lazy assholes, and all the people with ME. Just fuck them all off. Just get rid of them.
Right.
You know?
Right. And you know what? No. And it. You know what? In any kind, you know, do we have perfect communities now, and there's no zombies running around? No. So you know what? You still get your murderers, your killers, your rapists, and you're gonna get that in these communities too. The thing is, though, is that you know we don't. I think if you're in a smaller community and the whole point of everybody being there is because we're there to survive.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think your mindset, the way you think, completely changes when your whole, you know, our whole purpose now is just to live life. Some of us have kids, some of us don't, some of us are successful, some of us aren't. But when we're living in a world that is dominated by dead people that only want one thing, and that is to kill us, to eat us, our whole thinking changes. We're in survival mode. And that's the one common thing that will tie us all together is survival. And I think that will change people's thinking. And you know what? I don't think there's going to be those people when somebody comes up to the door and it may not go over well, but I don't think anybody's going to speak out against it. If somebody comes up and says, well, here's me and my wife who's pregnant with triplets and our 10 children, and what did you do for a living? I was
I claimed benefits. I never worked.
Yeah, we'll see. And then you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shut the door on them. And I know that sounds mean, but do you want all those people coming in? Then they're gonna, you know what? They would add nothing but taking our supplies and our food.
Yeah.
You know, Barry, I like your thinking. We may not always agree, Barry, but I like your thinking. We may not always agree often, but I like your thinking. No,
it's just right. No, it's just right. Okay, we're good.
But it's, you know, the way we're going to be thinking then is completely different from now. Everything's going to be about survival. Everything's going to be about keeping these dead people from eating us. And if you're living in a community, that's going to be the one thing that synchronizes all of us, no matter what it is. So, you know what? When there's going to be kind of our own little militia that's going to stay up 24 hours, and there's going to be people that hunt. There's going to be people that take on the job of skinning, and you know what I mean? And gutting the animals. And I know, but that's what's going to happen. Everybody's going to have a role, and it's going to be done every single day, because that's how our life will be then. And you know what? The weak will die, and the strong will not. Will survive.
Survive burning poop.
You survive burn, but that's going to be an issue. You can't just keep shitting in the same place. You know what I mean? It's going to have to be disposed of. It will have to. Even in, even a lot of the military compounds like that are in Afghanistan and stuff, they burn their poop.
Yeah.
They do it now, Barry. It's not uncommon.
No, I know.
You just don't want to think about it.
People are going to think I'm weird, but I think I'd prefer to be eaten and attacked by a zombie than have to live around my own food. That's just me. Call me a freak, but, you know, I really...
You know what, Barry? We're going to make you a special Rebel Dead poo shirt.
I mean, that's why I've never been to a festival, because I used to be really into my dance music before the wife started punching out kids, but I never went to a festival, and the only reason I didn't go is because there's no proper cleaning facilities and there's no proper toilet.
Well, you have to understand that this would be a huge issue, though.
Ugh.
You know what? Because you can't keep, and I know everybody said let's stop, but you got to think about it. I mean, this is going to be an issue. This is going to be one of those high priority things that you're going to have to sort out. and you can't avoid it, Barry. You can't like not go to the bathroom. You're gonna have to. You'll implode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Football.
So that's, nobody wants to talk about it, but that's one of those things that's gonna happen. The other thing that we had talked about that we all felt was probably going to end up happening, not in like the first year, but like maybe the second year of this, would all of a sudden there would be a baby boom. Because
baby boom?
Yes, because there's gonna be, after, let's say
because we wouldn't have any video games anymore, so there'd be nothing left to do.
Exactly. Duh. No. No. But what I'm saying is that 2 years into this, things are starting to get kind of normal style living in our abnormal world now. So there would be, there's moments, and we had talked about, and everybody did agree that, men are men. No matter what. It doesn't matter what's going on. They could be in the mood of 900 zombies coming at you, and they see a pair of tits. They're like, yeah! Do you see the tits on that zombie? But what I'm saying, though, is we said there would be there would be a lot of deaths not due to zombies, just because there's no cancer treatments, there's no diabetes, there's, you know what I mean? There's all of a sudden, for these people that need it, so a lot of people would die, and I think a lot of babies 2.5, 3 years in would be born. So now, one of the things that we haven't touched on in a while is the governments. Because everybody knows that the governments have underground fortresses everywhere in the world. Every government does. Basically places to keep them safe. Somebody had mentioned, I don't know who it was in chat, it might have been Phil's fan, he's not here. But somebody had mentioned, would there ever be any sort of government structure even like 2 years after? Because how would there be any communication?
Not over here, they wouldn't. I know for a fact they wouldn't. Our government can't organise a fucking bus lane, let alone an apocalypse. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, so on our last election, if you didn't know, they couldn't even fucking decide who to elect.
Right.
There were 3 guys
right.
up for election. And I mean, pretty basic idea. You go into this little booth, you tick a little thing, and then one of the 3 guys gets elected. Now you think that's the easiest thing on fucking planet Earth. But we even managed to fuck that up.
Oh, we do it all the time. We're Americans. We've got the political system nailed for fucking up.
Them either to say, man A, B, or C is like, no, what we've done is the first guy, he retired, and then the other 2 guys that will go, they're both going to be Prime Minister. I was like, what the fuck are you on about? They both represent 2 completely different parties with 2 completely different ideals and 2 completely different policies. It's like, oh my god, this is just absolutely ridiculous. Tell you what, mate, just take 25% of my wages and we'll just say no more about it, like you normally do, you bunch of pricks. So, no, government over here, it just wouldn't happen. Rant over.
No, but I will agree with Miss Tracy Jane that government would crumble. Absolutely it would. Because, at this point in time, you would have people, I think, that maybe are close near government saying, well, what the fuck are you guys going to do? And the only thing they're worried about is keeping, like, their presidents alive. So I think people would just be like, fuck you, it's every person for its own. I was saying, like, let's say all of us here in this chat, we're all in a community together. And let's say it's 10 years down the road, and all of a sudden, we start getting messages that they're starting to, the government's coming out from underground. They're trying to restructure. And let's say we've been living like this for 10 years, and we've got a pretty good thing going on. We ward off our zombies pretty well. We have some kind of structure, a day-to-day kind of thing going on in our community, and now the government's going to come in and say, well, we need to tear this all down.
No. That's the thing. I mean, if you say realistically, about half of the people out there don't trust the government now.
No, absolutely.
And 10 years into an apocalypse, and the government says, right, we're going to stop doing this, that, and the other. It's like, mate, fuck right off.
My first question would be, where the fuck have you been for 10 years?
Exactly, yeah. Where have you been for 10 years? I've been in the corner there. I've been having to burn my own poo. Where have you been?
That would be the first thing out of Barry's mouth.
I've been complaining, and
Barry has been bitching for 10 years.
And you've been over there discussing what to do next. Why don't you fuck off, mate?
Uh-oh. I don't give a shit about Obama. He wants to take away our guns. He wants to turn us into the UK. No, you know what? Obama has taken away a lot. We're not going to get into a political talking here. Maybe that will be for a new morning show that I'm developing and putting together. So Barry is bitching about burning shit, says MLG Blue.
Rather eaten by a zombie than burn poo.
Yes, but you know what? Barry has a point. 10 years in, if the government shows up and says, you know what, this whatever this thing is, this community is, and you know, and when I talk about communities, I'm talking more than like 20 people. You know, I'm talking about you know, a lifestyle. So you know, and I would say that you know, here and there throughout the months, more people are added to that community because people do come along that do have valuable traits and skills that can be used within the community. So your community would grow. And, you know, 10 years in, there may be 150, 200 people in, let's say, in our little community. And they come in and say, well, we've decided that we're taking back control. And we're, you know, so you got to think 10 years down the road, there's numerous communities like ours, our little community that we've built, all over the world now, you know, and now all of a sudden our governments decide to come out of hiding wherever they've been keeping safe because maybe their food's running out. Maybe because you know they have everything that we have been lacking. You got to understand the government has. They have enough food rations for like 20 plus years. They have enough medical supplies to treat diseases, including cancer. They have enough of everything that we would be doing. They will have working restrooms. Unlike Barry, who won't for 10 years. And I'm being serious because I watched a whole show on some of the underground facilities that the United States government has. And it's they're whole like working cities underground just for government people. They're not for us. So my whole thing would be, I would be kind of like at a fuck you kind of thing, like fuck you, like really, like after 10 years, and you know, and they would come out because you know they have all of the things that we will have lived without. They probably wouldn't have to fight off a zombie for 10 years, or you know, maybe they feel that after 10 years they come out of the underground and say, well, we only have to deal with X amount of zombies now. My big issue would be, fuck you. I would think, you know, where have you been? And there's no way I'm going to live under your rule now. After all this, because I've had to sit here and listen to Barry bitch about shit for 10 years, so there's no fucking way. I think that would be my biggest issue. You know what? I might actually commit suicide after 10 years of living with Barry in a community and having him bitch about where he has to shit.
Yeah, bitching about that, having no beer.
Because you know what? Think about it though. Eventually there'd be no toilet paper.
Oh, that would suck.
But you know, like things that we take advantage of now, there was not going to be any of that. Loco says he's going to last like 2 days. Yes, Loco, you will survive because you're going to be in our community. So, but things that, you know, we take advantage of now, you know, things like toilet paper, there's going to be no toilet paper after a while. We'll make sure that Blue wipes his ass with all the poison ivy leaves, though. And, but things like that, a world without toilet paper. See, all of a sudden, you guys are, but that's like serious. There's gonna be no toilet paper. There's gonna be no deodorant.
Oh. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, I never thought about the little
But those are
no
the little
toothpaste, not
things.
with brush
No,
my teeth.
right. You're gonna have to think of what. Well, actually, Barry, there are things that are out in nature that you can use to brush your teeth with that actually clean your teeth. There's plants and stuff.
Yeah, I know, but that's a plant, isn't it? Oh,
I know.
God, I'm not going to have fun in the apocalypse.
Poor Barry. But like Loco says, there's gonna be no hygiene products.
No.
Blue says it's not like I use any of these hygiene products. Blue's starting off on the right foot. But it's true, the little things that we kind of take advantage of now, 10 years down the line of living like this, oh my God, like even a year in, you know, whatever rations that you have are going to start being depleted. And, you know, bars of soap, shampoo, toilet paper, toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant. You know, I know this sounds, but you know, condoms, they're not going to be there. Like we were talking, somebody said they'd use plastic, they find plastic and use it and then just wash it.
A buddy of mine who definitely wasn't me used a used packet of crisps or chips to you guys as a condom one time. That
Oh
was
my God.
horrific.
But Tracy Jane, you will take your deodorant, but eventually your deodorant's going to run out. There's not going to be any. You know what? We may become hairy, Tracy.
Oh. Fuck. It's gonna really suck, isn't it? Is it even worth surviving about being surrounded by smelly, hairy women? But
I'm not. I mean, I don't want to laugh, but even your stockpile, you could stockpile. You could go to the store. Eventually, after time, it's gonna run out. Everything that we know and love and have and take advantage of, it's gonna run out. That deodorant, it's gonna run out. It's, you know, I mean, okay, Tracy Jane, tampons, there's not gonna be any after a while.
Oh.
Wow. Am I still on?
Yeah.
Okay, we just had lightning hit right by the house, and actually I heard it go through my headset.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should even be on anymore. This is getting scary. Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh wow. This is, like, I heard lightning hit out right in front of our house, and I heard it through my headset. And, oh man, this is like scary. Do I have a surge protector on this computer? But, what? I know, it's this is a bad storm. We're actually in the middle of a really bad storm right now, so, I might actually, what time is it? I usually don't end the show this early, but I can actually hear the lightning going through my headset right now, as we're talking. Can you guys hear anything? If I start smelling something like hair burning, I'm gonna really be gone. But all of the little things, like I said, that we talked about, Barry, it may not be a pleasant world for you. I mean, razors, I think we could, but you know, shaving legs and stuff is not going to become a priority anymore. And you know, Loco, we already talked about smelling burning shit. And it grossed out Barry. Barry is not going to be having... Thank you, Tracy. I'm not on fire yet. Yay! Oh, Blue has some zombie stories bookmarked for us. Why don't you go ahead and throw one of the links out, and we'll talk about that, because Blue has worked very hard to find us some. I'm actually looking out the windows because I'm getting nervous of being on here. I need to check. If I get electrocuted, if I die talking about burning shit, I will just not be happy. Wouldn't that suck, Barry? Like, I die because I'm talking about burning shit. I'm on the Weather Channel right now because I'm trying to look at, wow. Wait, this looks like one of the worst areas just past us and is passing us now, and then we should be done after that. I just don't want to die talking about burning shit. But, now, Barry tweeted Rebel Dead Live, now talking about what would happen to the poo. People are going to think you're talking about Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about poop.
Poop.
My daughter's like, why? She's like, why are you talking about poop?
Very real concern.
Alright, so let me see. Zombie Strongholds. If everybody clicks on the link MLG Blue has found for us. Okay, now, honestly...
Loco, we have to talk about drinking piss. Why would we have to talk about drinking piss?
You know, because if we start running out of water, if it's still gonna rain, we're just gonna have to boil.
It's not gonna rain.
We're gonna
fucking.
You know, we do. Listen, because I know how to do this. You have barrels and containers that you collect rainwater in, and then what you have to do is, you know what? I even know that you can. I know how to filter water through dirt, and I know how to do this, and it does happen. But what I'm saying is that you can clean your water just simply by boiling it, maybe with burning poo. So it seems that Blue has found some more zombie attacks. Another zombie attack injures 2 bite victims. This was on July 11th. And it sounds like this one was due to bath salts again. And there's a shitload of related articles in that first link. As for the anti-zombie strongholds for sale, I see a way in, unless that drawbridge goes up. Well, we had never decided if zombies could swim or not, so no place. The only place to me that's safe is one that I know I have shored up. So, but yeah, everybody check out the links that the second zombie attack is, oh, he looks like, zombie attacks continue. Jeremiah Aaron Haughey. Haughey? If that doesn't sound Midwestern inbred, I don't know what does. I'm sorry. Jeremiah Haughey? How many times have I told you not to eat my bath salts? Wow. What the fuck? You motherfuckers. They just broke my coffee pot.
That's bad news.
Now that is bad news. Don't anybody step over there, please. Get the cat. The cat did it. TJ, don't curse. Everybody heard you. Now you're not my angelic child anymore. God damn it. I can't, honestly, we've just had a fatality in the house. My coffee machine, honestly, my coffee pot, just the whole thing fell over, and my coffee pot just broke. Right now. Holy shit. Oh my god, this storm, I have never been afraid of storms like I have this one. Hey, Malone's in the house. Everybody say hello to Malone. He is a Rebel VIP. So welcome, Malone. And I see also Paradox is in the house. My chat is not showing me who is coming in today, so I can't see everybody. And yes, it is, the coffee pot is broken. The cat's knocked it over. And, but I will make coffee in the morning. I don't care if I have to put the coffee, I will filter it. Trust me. So, please, I know they broke it. They just knocked it over. Throw it away. I think the coffee pot is, Rob is checking out this crime scene right now. And Rob is, Rob, say hi to Barry. He said, "What's up, sex muffin?"
Tell him I want to be on him.
He wants to be on you. He said he's all yours. No, yeah, I'll have to actually just boil some water in a pot tomorrow if I have to, and then just filter it in one of my 32-ounce cups. It's not a big deal. I've done it before. So, yeah, I can. I will. I'll figure. I'm good. I have a glue gun and duct tape. I can make coffee. No, I can. Rob, I can make. I'll just make it and run it into one of my great big mugs, right from the pot. I'll stick my fucking face underneath there. I don't care. So, anyways. No, I know, but I have a coffee pot, and it makes about 15 cups of coffee at one time. So, and then I pour it into a cup. We also have those coffee makers that make 1 cup at a time, but I'm not rich, and I can't afford those, so I don't have those. Listen, Blue, I want to tell you something. I have duct tape and I have a glue gun. I can make coffee in the morning. Period. And, but, so before the thunder and lightning almost took my head off and the coffee pot fell over and broke at, ironically, a very good time, there actually has been, Blue had posted some links up in chat. There have been some more zombie attacks. And oddly enough, one of them was again in Florida. And that is where our administrator, his Afro Gamer, lives. It is a lot of coffee. Dude, I do a lot of fucking work every day. I need a lot of coffee. So we have... for those of you who've just joined us, we have been talking about communal living again, and we've come to the conclusion that if we were all to live in a community together, Barry would have the biggest problem with everything.
Not everything, just the
Barry has issues with poop.
Yeah, it's dirty.
And hairy, stinky women.
Yeah, that's dirty.
You know, but those are the things that, you know what, would we be able to bathe every day? Would we be able to shower every day? Probably not. You know, we would have to live by some form of running water, I'm thinking, and, you know, or we'd have to have water carted into us. Those are things that are, you know, how would we wash our clothes? I think people would just stink. And we'd get used to it.
Why am I automatically the shit cleaner? What, you know, let's find the guy that hates this job the most. Get him to do that, because if you do that, you're going to demoralise me, and then I'm going to get around with a lot of zombies, and I'm going to put them in your fucking bed, mate.
No, Barry would do something. I'm just not sure exactly what. In our community. All I know, though, is that when Barry has to go poop, it would be a comedic thing for all of us to enjoy. Barry is British, yes. But we were actually, for Malone that just joined us, Paradox that just joined us, we were talking about the little things that we kind of take advantage of now that we won't have. Well, Malone, you can't fuck him, he's married, so.
Malone's a girl?
No, Malone's a guy. Or maybe he can, I don't know, Barry might be up for it. But,
Try anything twice.
But we had just talked about how there would be no toilet paper. Toilet paper would run out, so wiping your butt would become an issue. There would be, you know, after a while, all those razors would become dull, and so, like, shaving our legs for the women, women that wax regularly would not be able to wax regularly. We would become, you know, things, but see, those things might not be kind of relevant to us anymore. We would not give a shit. That's right, no more Starbucks. We would all be very hairy. We would all be, I would think that for at least a while we would smell okay, but after a while we may not smell okay. But because there's not going to be any deodorant. You know, we're not going to have deodorant. Barry shaves, just very. I don't think. No, I think that's a myth, TJ.
What's the myth?
But TJ says that he has heard that women in the UK just don't shave. That's France, TJ. They don't.
France. That's why we don't like the French.
No
one likes French.
No one. They're dirty and stinky anyways, so they're gonna be. You know what, Barry? The French may survive this better than we will. They're already hairy and stinky.
Yeah.
So, we need to tweet this. We need to tweet that the French may survive. The French may now survive the zombie.
Like I said earlier, the French would just collaborate with the zombies because that's what they do in every single fucking war they've ever been in.
Well, no, but I mean, realistically, though, I mean, I would hope that the French were deodorant. I don't know. I've never been to France, and I don't know many completely French people. So, they're bastards. Okay, well, I will take it that that you are an expert on the French, and that you know this for a fact.
Yep.
So I have just tweeted, and if anybody would like to retweet my tweet, please do so. See, people are going to read that and go, so if you're hairy and stinky, you're going to survive the zombie apocalypse. Yes, this is true. And TJ, just for reference, we have a British female in our audience, and that's a fucking lie, goddammit. There, I've told my son off. For you British women.
You go, Tracy. Go.
Barry, you were just pissed because you lost the 100 Years' War.
Let's not get started on that kind of conversation because we'll be in here for a while.
Watch it. There's glass on the floor. All right, and everybody, just do me a favor here. All of you who have a Twitter. I'm gonna give you guys a Twitter account in the chat here. There we go. On Twitter, say happy birthday to TJ Vivian 32. He's turning 16 in about 20 minutes.
16.
Yep, 16, my baby. He is actually our quick scoper in the house, and that's what he even in Battlefield, and he's very accurate and very good. I will not game against him because I do not like him in gaming. No, there are, but if there was, can I tell you that we would make fun of them just as if they were, because the kind of atmosphere in Rebel is very lewd. I don't know. Some of our Skype chats are very awkward for other people, I think. We've actually had people quit because they couldn't handle our Skype chats. You know, Afro Gamer is African American, and
no, he's not. He's not. He's Mocha.
I know you say he's Mocha. He's not Mocha. Okay, he might be Mocha. But then Carrie is our resident Asian ninja. So we have a very diverse, and we do, you know, we do joke with each other about it. So, but we do not have a French person. But if we did, we would tell them that they were hairy and stinky, just because that's the way we work. We often tell Barry things about him that he does not like, and he as well tells us things about us that we may not like to hear. So we work all well together. But Malone could use a cafe mocha right now. Yes, if Will was here, I'm sure he'd oblige you, Malone. But so I guess did everybody take a look at the fortresses that were up? I can't honestly believe that those are Blue put up some links in the chat that kind of showed some zombie fortresses. I do not think that we will live in anything like that. When I envision a forted community, I envision one of that probably looks a lot like some of the places in Homefront, the game, if you've played that. Might be up with a lot of plywood and little triggers that sound off in the woods if somebody's walking through. People, and that's kind of honestly how I envision our forted community, kind of just up with very high walls of wood and plywood and other objects. I don't think it's anything like the links that Blue showed us. So if you want to spam those spam the links of the houses that they showed. Blue has some links. Let him post them. There you go. If you guys click on those links, though, that's some zombie holdups. I honestly do not see us in something like that. It's only 10.9 million, by the way. So, but honestly, do you really think that, if I come upon this place, I don't give a shit who's in it. If I can get in, I'm in. 10.9 million or not, right?
Currency really isn't going to count.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think, and that's another thing we had talked about. And yes, I would like to thank all of our UK people in here because it is now 4:40 a.m. But honestly, Tracy, I am actually usually up at that time here in the US because that's when I start working on the press for Rebel. That
is actually true, Tracy. It's a little bit weird, if I'm being honest. But it's every day she's up.
I will at the end of the show, Robert. But I'm trying to read the chat here as we're going along, and but yes, Tracy, Jane, and Barry are up very late past their bedtime, and that is dedication, and I do appreciate it. But before we start wrapping up here, I just wanted to say that I am working on getting a show together that will be on during the morning hours, hopefully with Barry as my regular co-host on the weekends, and we're also because that's actually a request also from a lot of Australian followers that I have and UK followers that I have. They said that they love the show. They love the Rebel Live show, which airs tomorrow night at 10, but it's just too early in the morning for them to come in. So hopefully we'll get that show for you. I don't know, Barry, what do you think? Should I tell them what the name of it's going to be?
Do it. 100% do it.
We have decided on a name for our morning show, though, and the name of me and Barry's morning show will be called Rebel Morning Wood.
Brilliant.
So we will be doing that. It'll be a little spin-off of Rebel Live. What goes on Rebel Live, we do talk about gaming and, yes, Morning Wood. And so, but that will be for a lot of the morning people or UK people, so we can pull that audience in. And as well, Rob is standing behind me. He wants me to mention that we are going to be starting some play dates for the PS3 and the Xbox. MLG Blue. Go ahead, somebody in chat explain to him what Morning Wood is. Barry, why don't you take that? Uh-oh, watch Malone go. But yes, Malone's explaining to him what Morning Wood is.
Just fantastic. Just phenomenal.
You have that unexplainable hard on. I like Malone. He's right to the point. Aw, Blue, don't leave. You gotta watch what you say with this crowd. You should know that by now. There, you can tweet that out there. We're talking about Morning Wood. No. And Rebel Dead. But, tomorrow, she just threw up in her mouth. But tomorrow as well, I will have a rundown of things on the show a little bit better. Me and Rob will be spamming our gamer tags, and Barry's gamer tags will be spammed as well. I'm not doing it tonight, Robert. That's why. As you can tell, this is live. He's standing right behind me, and he's like in my ear. Rob just said penis to everybody in chat, so I would like to just relay that for you. But everybody in chat, why don't you ask Rob why the fuck he's not on with us right now? That's what you should be asking him. But it doesn't matter. You should be joining us in chat. By the way, Rob is actually in the process of writing a Rebel Dead zombie survival guide. So that will be... and a comic book. Bob, that has nothing to do with Rebel Dead, though. Well, I don't give a shit what you're doing. I only care if you're doing it for Rebel. No, I can make coffee. I'm not mad. The pot doesn't freak me out. I'll stick my face underneath there and let it drip in my mouth. Did you just curse at me again, TJ? I didn't think so. Anyhow. Barry's listening to this laughing. But, alright. So, everybody, we're going to wrap this up tonight. Thank you very much for the discussions. Next week, I have no idea where we're going to go with Rebel Dead. Probably going to talk more about Barry's issues with poop and how he's not going to survive with very hairy, smelly women.
No, it's not going to do it for me at all.
So, we'll talk about a weapon system. We will talk about all that. Everybody, think of stuff that you want to go over in chat. Thank you, Blue, for finding the links for us today. Maybe that's what we'll talk about. We'll talk about our strongholds and what. All right, as well, guys. Rob just said have ready maybe your things that might need to go in the survival guide. Rob's going to actually leave it open as well and let you guys come up with some ideas that should go in the survival guide. I know he wrote poo as in Winnie the Pooh, but so have those ready. I think though Rob should come on with us next week and talk in chat with us. We're also going to be don't forget, tomorrow night we have Rebel Live, 10 p.m. Eastern. And last week we had said that we were going to talk about Pokemon and retro gaming. So those of you that are here tonight that were on Rebel Live, I will make sure that we do discuss those. And as well, hopefully we'll have some more information on when we will start our morning chat with Barry as our regular co-host for Morning Wood.
So love that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so actually I'm looking forward to that. And me and Barry will talk some more about that and see what day would be good. It will be on a weekend because obviously that's the best date for Barry. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to have some more information for you guys. Thank you, everybody, very much for joining us tonight. And we hope to see you next week. Thank you very much, Barry, for staying up late. And Miss Tracy Jane for joining us as well. And even though a lot of your viewpoints in the beginning were very contradicting to mine, Miss Tracy Jane.
But that's why you invited me on the show.
But that's good. No, that was good. You made me stop and think and debate, and I liked that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Tracy, for staying up late past your bedtime. I do appreciate